Gojo Satoru never lost. Not once, not to anyone, until Sukuna. And being the strongest one didn't save him. Just meant he got to die knowing exactly how much stronger the enemy still was. He died young, died mid-fight, died with his students still there and nobody left strong enough to cover them. Now, imagine the universe gives him a second chance. What if Gojo was reborn as Yuji Itadori? Does he still actually win this time? Let's get into it. Gojo opens his eyes and he's a baby. No idea how, no idea why, just tiny hands, tiny feet, and a brain that still remembers every second of dying. Years go by and something about this body won't stop bugging him. His strength is way past normal kid levels, cursed energy sitting inside him like it's been parked there waiting. Then it clicks. And this is the part where it's actually messed up. This isn't just some random strong kid Kenjaku stumbled onto. It's canon. Kenjaku spent generations breeding the Itadori bloodline for one reason: to build the perfect vessel for Sukuna. So, Gojo didn't just get reincarnated, he got dropped into a body engineered across centuries to hold the king of curses. Out of everybody on the planet, fate gave him the one built for his own worst enemy. New body, new rules, and one rule is brutal. No Six Eyes, no Limitless. The technique that made him untouchable his whole life is just gone. Strongest sorcerer alive, and he can't stop a fist from hitting his own face anymore. But Yuji's body isn't some downgrade, it's a different weapon. Strength like that has no business being in a human body. Durability that shrugs off hits that would flatten a normal kid twice over, and soul-based attacks. Something Gojo never had access to in his entire first life. He didn't lose power, he swapped one cheat code for another. Meanwhile, learning how to actually feel pain again, that's its own trauma for a guy who spent decades not being touched by anything. So Gojo trains quietly, because a toddler quietly leaking cursed energy gets noticed fast, and the one person who absolutely cannot notice is the man raising him, Kenjaku, wearing Yuji's grandfather like a stolen jacket. Gojo knows exactly who's watching him. Kenjaku has no clue what he's actually raising. Every night Gojo runs through techniques in his head that won't even work for years. Patient in a way that he'd never been the first time around, because arrogance is a one-time use card and he'd already spent his. By age 10, Gojo's already blown past where Yuji stood in the entire original story. Black Flash on command, domain amplification mastered in months instead of years, Divergent Fist just second nature at this point. Decades of muscle memory crammed into a 5th grader's body, and it shows. He hasn't even met Megami yet, hasn't eaten a single finger yet, and he's already lapping the version of himself that used to lose this fight. One problem though, somewhere out there, past Gojo is still walking around, Six Eyes intact, completely unaware that his future self just got recycled into his old student. So, the first time these two meet, it's not a reunion. It's going to be the weirdest conversation in Jujutsu history, full stop. Gojo doesn't wait around either. He knows where Sukuna's fingers are scattered. 2 lifetimes of memory will do that, so he starts eating them early. Way early, before Megami even knows his name. That's when it gets complicated. The second he swallows a finger, Sukuna, still just a whisper in the back of his own skull, catches a flicker of Gojo's memories. His death, his fight, who he actually is. Sukuna doesn't say a word, he just files it away and waits, because that's what Sukuna does. He waits for the moment it'll hurt the most. Megami finds out about the fingers almost immediately and reacts exactly how you'd expect. Drags Gojo straight to Jujutsu High before this kid eats himself into a walking apocalypse, which honestly is exactly what Gojo wanted. Straight to the front door, straight to past Gojo. And here's the part that should break both of their brains. Past Gojo, Six Eyes, Limitless, fully intact, comes face to face with a 10-year-old wearing his own student's face, radiating the exact same energy signature he felt his whole life. He knows something's off, he just doesn't know what yet. For a second, he genuinely wonders if he's losing it, because nothing about a kid this age should feel this familiar. So, Gojo tells him everything. All of it. Shibuya, Sukuna, their fight, his death, every detail past Gojo hasn't lived through yet. Laid out by a kid who has no business knowing any of it. Past Gojo doesn't believe him, not really, until Gojo brings up Geto. How he died, when, and why. details nobody alive is supposed to know. Past Gojo goes quietly because there's only one way a stranger could possibly know that. And for a man who spent his whole life being the smartest one in every room, that silence is the loudest reaction he's had in years. Once Past Gojo believes him, everything downstream starts collapsing in Kenjaku's favor, except backwards. The finger bearer that wrecked Yuji in the original timeline doesn't even get a fight this time. Gojo ends it in one hit and eats the finger before Sukuna can blink. No loss of control, no opening for Sukuna to take the wheel, just a cursed spirit that thought it was ambushing a kid and instead walked straight into somebody who'd already died once and wasn't planning on doing it again. Jogo goes down way early. Hanami goes down right after, courtesy of Past Gojo, who now knows exactly when and where to strike because a kid's been feeding him the future in real time. Two of Kenjaku's biggest pieces wiped off the board before they even mattered. Nobara never even gets near that theater fight, never takes the hit that costs her everything in the original story, because the curse behind it's dead before she gets the mission. She spends the whole arc annoyed she missed the action, completely unaware she just dodged the worst day of her life. And here's the domino effect nobody sees coming. No Hanami means no Kyoto incident. No Kyoto incident means Chozo's brothers never get used, never die, never even become part of Kenjaku's plan in the first place. Panda and Maki don't lose a single teammate that year. Death paintings stay locked up where they belong. A whole tragedy just quietly stops existing, and nobody in Kyoto ever finds out how close they came to living through it. Mahito still finds Junpei, still turns him. Some things are just too baked into Kenjaku's plan to dodge entirely, but this time Gojo's already there. Already knows how the fight goes, exactly where Junpei's going to be standing, exactly what Mahito's about to say right before he says it, and he ends Mahito before the curse can become the problem he was always going to become, before he can twist another kid's grief into a weapon. Junpei doesn't get turned into a lesson about cruelty this time. He just gets to be a kid who had a really weird week and lived through it. 3 of Kenjaku's strongest allies gone before Shibuya even gets a chance to happen. Somewhere, Kenjaku's watching a centuries-long plan crumble like a Jenga tower, losing pieces he spent literal generations setting up, and he still doesn't know who's pulling them. Kenjaku's not having a good time. A plan centuries in the making's falling apart in front of him, and he still doesn't fully understand why, so he starts digging, and that's when it clicks for him too. Same as it clicked for Sukuna. This kid isn't just talented. This kid already knows how it ends. So Kenjaku does what Kenjaku always does when he's cornered and stops playing it safe. He moves early, way earlier than in canon, straight for Gojo, because if this kid really is who Sukuna thinks he is, he's the single biggest threat to everything Kenjaku's built. He overwhelms young Gojo fast, force feeds him a stack of cursed fingers, and Sukuna comes roaring out. Sukuna wakes up already knowing everything. The reincarnation, the memories, the plan, and he wastes zero time going straight for Megumi, the one person whose body could actually put him down for good. Megumi loses, Maharaga gets summoned, gets crushed, and Sukuna takes his prize, jumping straight into Megumi's body while Kenjaku keeps every sorcerer in Japan busy with an endless wave of curses. Past Gojo finally comes face to face with Sukuna, 6 eyes against the King of Curses, the fight to everyone's been waiting 2 lifetimes for. It's close. Closer than it should be because Sukuna's got Gojo's own memories working against him now. Every weakness, every habit laid out in his head like a scouting report. But then, Gojo, the kid, the one everyone forgot who was still in the fight, comes back. Reversed curse technique. Not dead. Never was. 2 Gojo, 1 Sukuna. The math doesn't work out for the King of Curses. Between the 2 of them, plus Yuta and Yuki mopping up Kenjaku on the other side of the battlefield, Sukuna goes down for good this time. And because this Gojo's got Yuji's soul attacks in his back pocket, he does something Past Gojo could never do. Kills Sukuna's soul clean, sparing Megumi in the process. No decades of dread hanging over the kid who never asked to be a vessel in the first place. No Shibuya massacre, no exposing the sorcerer world to the public. No dead friends piling up behind him. Maki is alive, Nobara's untouched, Chozo's brothers never die. Geto and Gojo, both of them standing in the same world at the same time, actually laughing about how insane this whole thing was, like 2 old men swapping war stories that only one of them actually lived through. Gojo didn't just get a second chance. He he got one thing he never had in either lifetime, an ending where nobody he loves has to die for him to win. No graves, no regrets, just a ridiculous number of students who have absolutely no idea how close they came to losing everything. So yeah, that's what would happen if Gojo got reborn as Yuji Itadori. Terrifying for everyone involved, but fortunately, it saved everyone's lives. But if you thought that was crazy, wait until you hear about this. I've got 31 secrets about Jujutsu Kaisen that most fans have never even heard of, and some of them are crazier than everything you've just watched. So, make sure you're subscribed, because you do not want to miss that one.